Hey everybody, now this is take two of our 2020 Wednesday with the Whittemore Group post here. Again, we are here. I am Tim with the Whittemore Group, your local professional and enthusiastic professional as well. I think last night, I think we're all enjoying or enjoyed a little bit too much, or maybe I did. We're all drinking a little bit extra coffee today. But anyway, I wanted to start off today with some tips. So we're starting off the year with some tips on helping you to get the best out of your future, making it the best year ever. And by doing that, by setting goals for this year. So I've got some tips for you that are going to help you get to that next level. I've got 5 different tips that are going to help you out to set those goals and keep accountable for them. All right, so what we've got is number 1 is to set goals that motivate you. All right, so if you have those goals that you really want to get done, one of the common ones that most people have are, say, losing weight, or say they want to get and purchase their first home this year, so saving up that down payment if needed. Those are some things that can go. Those are things that motivate you. If it's just something that you're like, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and you're like, well, somebody said I should do it and it's not motivating, you're not going to do it, right? So that's number 1, to set goals that motivate you. Now, the next one tip that I have is to get SMART. SMART is an acronym, being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, right? So be specific in what you want to do. Say if it is something that you wanted to, say, lose some weight, then what I would say is say how much. And then what you can do is kind of break that down and be like, okay, well, for the ease of math, we'll say, I want to lose 12 pounds this year. And then you can break it down per month and be like, okay, that's 1 pound a month. And what do I have to do per week? That way it's specific and measurable, so you can measure it. That's the second one, measurable. So with that measurable, you want to ensure that it isn't just something really vague, like, hey, I want to be a better person. Well, what does that really mean? How do you want to do that? Do you want to volunteer once a month or something of that nature? What's going to get you there? Make sure it's attainable. Don't make some sort of goal like, I want to walk across all 7 continents by the end of the year. You know, I think that limits you if you're going to be walking, that you wouldn't be able to do that. So make sure that it's attainable and that you can get that stuff done. Make sure that it's relevant, that it's relevant to you. Again, it's about what motivates you, all right? So make sure that it's relevant to what you're going to want to accomplish, who you want to become by the end of this year. And again, make it time bound. So one of my personal goals this year is to have a certain weight by the time that I hit my next marathon. I'm running the Air Force Marathon in 2020 this year. So I want to get down to a certain weight so that I can run a little bit faster than last year, and hopefully get under the 4-hour mark for running that. So make sure that it's specific, it's time bound. So again, SMART is the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So the third one is put it in writing. Put it in writing. Make a post today, put it out there for the world to see. Make it visual. If you can, I've got a board that's up here that has my goals set out for this entire year. That way I get to see it every single day, and it's more motivating, and anybody else that comes in here is be like, well, what are you doing on your goal? A little peer pressure might help you. All right, so the next one, number 4, is to make an action plan. Like I had mentioned before, if it's something that you're going to work on here in the future, or if it's well, obviously we're doing that. If it's something that is measurable, break it down. Once again, we use the losing weight. I want to lose 12 pounds this year. That's 1 a month. What do I have to do per week in order to get that? Even down to days, hours, whatever it takes. And then the last one, and most important of all of these, is to stick with it. Right? Stick with it. Don't get discouraged. Make it attainable. Again, break it down so that it doesn't seem like a huge goal. Well, when you do that and you break it down into smaller pieces, you're more apt to actually get that done. All right? Well, hopefully this will help you out. If you have some goals and you want to be accountable, go ahead and throw them in the comments here. I'll be out there to cheer you on anytime that you do that. I am following you guys out there. So ensure to do that. Tell a family member, a friend, write it down, get it out there and get it done and make this the best year ever. A couple other tips, since it is the beginning of the year, some things that have helped me out with my success moving forward is every time that the new year comes around, I do two things. One thing that I do is set a budget for this year. So I know if math isn't your forte, that this can kind of be daunting, but you want to know so you don't overextend yourself financially and the rest of the world kind of seems to fall in place when everything's kind of sitting that way. So put a budget for the year, try to stay accountable to that. Heck, make it one of your goals if you'd like. Also, another thing that you should do is to plan your time off. I know that seems kind of like, hey, well, you know, I want to get out and get things done. Well, if you don't take time to recharge, to take some time for yourself, you'll get burnt out. So make sure, and one of the first things that I do is to plan how many weeks, what days, what times I'm going to have time to recharge my batteries. Now, it may be just a couple of days here, a couple of days there, or weeks at a time. You want to take 2 months off, you want to take three weeks, whatever it is. But do put it in the calendar and keep yourself accountable for it, so again, that you don't burn out. All right, well, that's all I got for you. Again, Happy New Year, Happy 2020. I hope you guys have an awesome year this year. Reach out anytime if we can do anything to help for you. And again, if you know somebody that could use this content, that could use a couple of tips, a little bit of motivation, be sure to like and share this video with those people. And from the Whittemore Group, we'll see you next week. Happy 2020.